Welcome to The Explainer, where we break down big ideas. So, Sun Tzu versus Clausewitz. It's like the ultimate matchup in military strategy, right? But what if I told you that whole epic rivalry is basically a myth?
Yeah, this is the picture everyone has in their head. You've got Sun Tzu, the master of subtlety, all about winning without a single battle. And then, in the other corner, you have Clausewitz, the guy who's all about total war and annihilation. Subtlety versus brute force. It sounds epic, but is it actually true?
What if that whole dramatic showdown is just a huge misunderstanding? What if these two guys, these supposed polar opposites, are actually saying a lot of the same things? Well, that's what we're going to dig into.
Okay, so to get to the bottom of this, we first have to figure out why they seem so different in the first place. Let's start there, with this popular idea of a clash of the titans.
You know, a huge part of the confusion just comes down to the reading experience. I mean, Sun Tzu's The Art of War, it's short, it's punchy, you can get through it in an afternoon. But Clausewitz's On War, that thing is a dense, philosophical brick. Almost nobody reads it cover to cover. So what happens? People just grab a few famous quotes out of context and think that's the whole story.
And really, when you actually put their books side by side, the difference in style is, wow, it's night and day. And that difference explains so much about why we get them so wrong.
I mean, look at this. The Art of War is basically a little handbook of sharp conclusions. It's a what-to-do guide. On War, though, it's a 600-page beast. Clausewitz isn't just giving you the answers. Oh, no. He's making you work for it. He walks you through his entire, torturous thought process to show you how he got there.
And this leads us right to one of his most misunderstood concepts, absolute war. This is the idea that gets him painted as this champion of total brutal violence. But here's the thing, he never meant it as a guide. It was a purely theoretical concept, an ideal type of war in its most extreme form. He knew perfectly well that a war like that could never, ever happen in the real world. It was a thought experiment, not a blueprint.
And now for the twist. Sun Tzu, he does the exact same thing. You know that famous line, the acme of skill is to subdue the enemy without fighting? That's his version of an ideal type. It's a perfect aspirational goal. He knew it was almost never possible in reality. I mean, if it were, why would he spend the rest of the book telling you how to, actually fight?
So you see this difference in approach, and it actually shapes their whole view of conflict. It's not that they're disagreeing on the fundamentals. It's that they're literally starting their analysis from two completely different places.
Think about it like this. Sun Tzu is looking at the whole timeline. His framework is super broad. It includes diplomacy, alliances, political maneuvering, all as part of the same game as actual fighting. Clausewitz, on the other hand, intentionally zooms in. He's not interested in the diplomatic run-up. He's focused on war proper, what happens after all that talking has failed. He basically picks up the story right where Sun Tzu's prequel ends.
Okay, now we're getting to the absolute core of it. This is the part where that whole myth of them being opposites just completely falls apart. Because when you ask the biggest question of all, what's the point of war? They are in shocking, total agreement. Honestly, it's better to just let them say it in their own words.
Sun Tzu couldn't be clearer. He says if it doesn't help the state, don't do it. If you can't win, don't send troops. If you're not in danger, don't fight. For him, war is never some glorious adventure. It's a tool, a really dangerous one, and you only use it if it serves the state's interests. It's all about cold, hard political calculation.
And then, listen to Clausewitz. War is a true political instrument, a continuation of political intercourse carried out with other means. That's his most famous line. And what is he saying? Exactly what Sun Tzu said. War's pointless without a political purpose. It's politics, just with fighting instead of talking. It's like he's reaching back 2,000 years and high-fiving Sun Tzu. For both of them, politics is king.
So here's the real punchline. They're not talking about two different animals here. They're just describing different parts of the exact same elephant.
And yeah, that old story about the blind man and the elephant is the perfect way to think about this. If you only read Sun Tzu, you're feeling the trunk. If you only read a few quotes from Clausewitz, you're feeling the leg. You might get your little piece right, but you are completely missing the big picture. You're missing the whole elephant.
And once you see that, you realize just how much they actually agree on. Look at this list of shared principles.
Both of them would tell you war is not a science with fixed rules. It's an art. It's fundamentally unpredictable. It's full of endless complexities. They both understood that everything changes the moment you engage with the enemy, and that in the end, success comes down to the creativity and, well, the genius of a commander.
So let's end with this. You have two of the greatest military minds in history. They're separated by 2,000 years and lived in completely different cultures. And yet, they land on the exact same core conclusions about the nature of war. What does that tell you? Maybe it tells us that for all our technology, for all our progress, the fundamental human reality of conflict, well, maybe that just doesn't change. Something to think about.